Hey, let's take a look at the 2024 D&D playtest level 1 spells that we've seen so far. We're up to playtest number 8 as I make this video, and nearing the end of the Player's Handbook playtest as far as we know. So our list of spells are Divine Smite, Chaos Bolt, Cure Wounds, Find Familiar, Healing Word, Hex has come and gone, Hunter's Mark, which I expect will go, since it should mirror Hex, which was similarly modified but then removed. Then we have Jump, Scribe Spell, which is gone, Searing Smite, Thunderous Smite, and Wrathful Smite. A lot of Paladin stuff here, and some surprises with the cure spells. Let's get started. Divine Smite is a level 1 spell. It used to actually be a Paladin feature, a Paladin ability, that they got starting at 2nd level where they could trade spell slots for doing extra damage. Now it's a 1st level spell, so that immediately nerfs it to make it only once per round, and it's a bonus action. So it takes up an action, it's only once per round. New is you can do it with an unarmed strike, so that's new. The damage is all the same. That is Divine Smite. We got that in playtest number 6. In playtest number 5, we've got a spell called Chaos Bolt. This is basically a straight transfer over from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Nothing's changed from the spell. It's a cool little sorcerer spell, lots of randomness in it. And then our next spell is Cure Wounds, and there's a big change here. Cure Wounds came to us at playtest number 8. It changed from being evocation to abjuration, but the big change is it went from 1d8 to 2d8. Casting cure spells in combat has always been pretty inefficient because you're trading basically your spell slots, which is a non-renewable resource, or at least not immediately renewable, for a monster's attacks, which they can usually do round after round. You're fighting a losing game there, but this making it 2d8 is going to help that a little bit. Still probably best to wait till combat's over if you can to do healing, and then once combat's out, your healing spells will go farther. So that's a nice little change there. I think it's good. I think there's been some hit point inflation, maybe, where 1d8 wasn't a whole lot of healing. Our next spell is Find Familiar. This comes back to us from playtest number 4, and it hasn't changed since then. The nice thing about this one is it gives you a new stat block, this otherworldly familiar stat block, which also can scale. And one main feature is it's got this extra dimensional escape. So the first time your familiar would die, they don't die. That gives them a lot more legs. Another change here is that the familiar actually can make an attack, which they didn't have the capability of doing previously. Our next spell, coming also from playtest number 8, is Healing Word. And this, like Cure Wounds, got a bump up. Went from evocation to abjuration, went from 1d4 to 2d4. So nice little bump there for Healing Word. Then Hunter's Mark, and this one is coming to us from playtest number 6. I expect that this one is going to probably be removed, and they'll probably go with the existing Hunter's Mark. This one has where it's not every attack that it does the damage, but you can increase the damage by raising its level. Don't expect that to stay. I think that will probably be updated in the final version of the game. Our next one is the Jump Spell. That came from playtest number 7. I think this is a nice little improvement on Jump. Makes it simpler. Basically, you touch a willing creature, and once in each of their turns, they can jump up to 30 feet by spending 10 feet of movement. Before, you had to, track it through the various rules for jumping, and their jump distance was tripled, so there was a lot of math there. Spending 10 feet to get a 30-foot jump, much simpler, make the game flow a little more smoothly, so I think overall a good change there to the Jump spell. Scribe spell's gone away, I think, in the new version of the Wizard. Searing Smite, Thunderous Smite, and Wrathful Smite, we get into some more Paladin Smite spells, and given that they made the main Divine Smite a spell, these all kind of function similarly. Let's look at Searing Smite in playtest number 6. Again, these are all 1st level. They're all bonus actions that can trigger on a hit or an unarmed strike. Searing Smite does an extra d6 fire damage. This is the same as it is currently. d6 fire damage, and at the start of each of its turns until the spell ends, target takes d6 fire damage, and then gets to make a Constitution saving throw. So it used to be concentration for a minute. Now you don't have to concentrate. So that's a nice little buff on the spell. There's still a higher level version of it as well. So that's a nice change there. Then Thunderous Smite. Now remember, these are now all going to take the place of your Paladin Smite. So you're not stacking these on top of the regular Smite that the Paladin could do. So Thunderous Smite. This one's instantaneous. It used to last a minute. As with all of these, you would cast it, and then the next time you hit, it would trigger. Now it triggers when you hit. So that's nice. That's a little bit less, bookkeeping and trying to remember what spell you got prepared or got going, etc. It does the same kind of thing as it did before. 2d6 thunder damage and possibly push 10 feet away. It adds at higher levels doing more damage. So that's a nice tweak there. And then lastly, at 1st level, we have Wrathful Smite. This one lasts a minute. does not require concentration. And instead of doing psychic damage as it did before, it does necrotic damage. And the target gets to repeat the saving throw each end of their turns. And there's a higher level casting feature. So that is what we have for the level 1 spells. What spells don't we have that you want to see? Leave that in the comments below. I would like to see Shield updated. I would like to see probably Goodberry updated, or 2 I can think of. Let me know what's on your list for Wizards of the Coast to hopefully update for the 2024 D&D. I'll see you for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.